The Takefu Knife Village. What a mystical place. You've heard of it before and you know that some of the best Japanese knives in the world come out of this workshop. So in today's video, we thought we'd share with you some of our footage from our most recent trip to Japan and give you a little tour of this most awesome workshop. So here we are, guys, entering through the back door of the workshop. You'll notice on your right-hand side here, there are 3 forging stations, each comprised of a spring hammer and a furnace. The furnace, of course, is used to heat the steel, and the spring hammer, of course, used to shape the steel. This was an awesome day to visit the shop because it seemed like everybody was in there working away. It was really busy. There was tons of energy, some really cool stuff being forged out. Shiro Kamo, one of our favorite blacksmiths, was busy working, forging out some sobakiris, these giant noodle knives. So that was really cool to see. On the left-hand side here, you'll notice a grinding wheel, which is used to further shape the knives after they've been forged out. Of course, once the knives have been forged, they look something like a knife, but they are certainly not as pointy at the tip as you would want them to be. And this is also when the profile or the curvature of the blade is put onto the knife. Moving past the hot forge and shaping station, we encounter the cold forging station. You'll notice there are no furnaces here, but there are still spring hammers. These spring hammers work exactly the same as the hot forging station, but they are not quite as powerful. They work much in the same way. They've got a little foot pedal on the right-hand side, which controls the speed and tempo and force of the spring hammer. And cold forging just helps to further straighten out the knives. You'll notice a gentleman sitting next to a wooden stump here with a hammer. You'll notice he's also doing very gentle hammer taps and checking the knife very frequently. What he's doing here is just further straightening out the blade before it moves on to the sharpening station. The workshop is sort of set up in a bit of a horseshoe pattern. So all along the sides, we have spring hammers, forging stations, and sharpening stations. And then all along the middle here, we've got all of the polishing and grinding wheels that are used to, among many other things, polish the knives, put the ura or the concave shape on the backside of a single beveled knife. And we also encountered Hatono-san here as well. And he is a very young blacksmith who's set to start his own business next spring. So we're very excited that we got to meet him and see him in action. So on the opposing wall from the hot forging station, we encountered the sharpening station. This was comprised of, I think, around 8 different sharpening wheels, all in different grits and used for different purposes. Maintaining your stone, like we always talk about here at the shop, is super important to getting proper sharpening results. So we got to see someone axing their stone, shaping it, taking out any of the high spots, and exposing new abrasive to the steel. As, of course, we sharpen with a stone, the stone is going to get plugged up with steel and become almost smooth. So this is necessary to actually remove steel from the knife. This is a very difficult process, very tedious. You'll notice him kind of moving the stone a little bit, giving a couple axe taps, moving it a little more, and doing that until he's feeling good about how consistently the stone is going to roll while he's sharpening. So as quick as we entered into the Takefu Knife Village workshop, we were on our way to our next stop on the tour. Just a stone's throw away from the actual Takefu Knife Village workshop, the cooperative, is located Yoshimi Kato's shop. I could literally throw a stone from the back door of the Knife Village to Yoshimi Kato's shop. It's just a short walk away out the back entrance of the shop, over a sketchy little bridge. We encountered his brand new shop. Inside, his shop is comprised of 1 forging station, so again a furnace and a spring hammer, and a series of sharpening and polishing wheels. You'll notice the vent on the furnace is shiny. This shop is brand new. I think he's only been working in there for under a year at this point. So everything very clean and organized in this shop, as are things in the Takefu Knife Village cooperative workshop as well. It was really fun to catch up with Kato-san and see his new shop. But before we knew it, we're on to our next stop on the tour, which was to go check out Kurosaki's shop. Kurosaki's shop is also located within a stone's throw from the cooperative workshop and Yoshimi Kato's workshop. He has been working out of this shop for at least 5 years. During my first visit to Japan in 2018, he was already working in this shop, and I think at that time it was already a few years old. Kurosaki shop also contains one forging station comprised of furnace and spring hammer and a series of polishing and grinding wheels. While we were there, we were also graced with an amazing forging demonstration by the myth, the man, the legend himself, Kurosaki. It was great to see Kurosaki in action. He is a master on the spring hammer and the forge. He was really moving. I think in the very short amount of time we were there, 5 or 10 minutes, he sort of rough forged out a good like 4 or 5 knives for us. Really clean work. You can tell he's done a lot of work on the spring hammer, so that was awesome to see. Before we went over and checked out his young apprentice, who was busy sharpening on one of 2 sharpening wheels that Kurosaki has in his shop. This station is comprised of 2 vertical sharpening wheels and 1 horizontal sharpening wheel. The vertical wheels are used to set the shinogi line and the edge geometry of the knife, while the horizontal wheel is used to micro bevel the knives, meaning put a very aggressive angle, which adds strength to the knife, before they are stropped on a piece of leather and tested on Japanese newspaper to make sure they are super, super sharp. And that just about wrapped it up for the day. After that, we headed back to the hotel and got freshened up for dinner before joining all of the blacksmiths at a local restaurant for one of our most favorite meals of the trip. It was tons of fun to tour around the Takefu Knife Village today. As I said in the beginning of the video, it was super busy in there, lots of people working. So we really got to see most, if not all, of the steps involved in making a Japanese knife, which was really special. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to dice up that like button, subscribe to our channel for more knife-related content, and until the next one, stay sharp.